I didn't have it started. All right. I'm waking up this morning. Welcome. I am John Beckman, Professor John Beckman, Dr. John Beckman, the father of the transgenic mother of sin, your hostess with the mostest. All right. I had a question from a student who wanted to mimic the texture of an electron micrograph of a water fleet. So the student had some image like this, and the approach that the student was taking, it appeared to me, was to zoom in very, very close to try to get a very fine brush and to draw sort of like individual lines to mimic that. And my first reaction was, that's going to take years. That's going to take forever. Okay, so let me show you how I would approach this if I was just trying to sort of capture like the essence of the texture in a more quick way. Now, I don't have all day to spend on this, so I'm not going to spend hours on it. I'm going to try to do it fast. So what I would do is I would grab the darkest gray from the creature with the eyedropper tool, okay? Then I would paint sort of the basic structure of the creature. Then I would grab a soft, round brush. I would grab the white color. I would reduce the opacity on that brush to about 10%. Then what you want to do is you want to progressively paint the image coming up. So I would slowly start to shade that image. So you're trying to identify where those highlights are and mark those regions. It's not going to be crisp yet because we haven't added any like lines. But again, my goal is to just get that texture. That's pretty close to my eye. Then what I would do is I would grab a rake. So I just made a rake. I can put the tutorial on how to make a rake in the link below. A rake is going to be something that does this. I would make a new layer. New layer. I would bring it on top of the thing that I was just drawing. And let's try to get some rake lines here. It's going to look real harsh at first. Trust the process. Trust the skill. Something like this. Okay. Now here's the key. Go to that layer. Reduce the opacity like a lot. A lot. That's pretty decent. Now grab an eraser. And let's erase where those rake marks should not be. I'm thinking like on this antenna thing, whatever the hell that is. Fisheries people, help me out. You can tell me what that structure is. Like that's getting close to the texture. That's getting real close. I think I'm going to reduce the opacity just a little bit more. Something like that. Okay, now take one more layer, layer new, up on top. Get a white brush, not a rake, a white brush. Something like this. And we're going to come in and we're going to do now the individual detail highlights. Don't worry about how harsh they look right now. We're gonna reduce that opacity. Our goal is to just sort of like define the structures to make it more clear to the eye what's happening here. I mean, this is not technically like scientifically accurate, like I'm not getting the lobes right because I'm not spending a lot of time. If I was doing this seriously, I would be perfectly like getting the proportions correct. I'm just trying to mimic the texture quickly and get like the overall kind of like the gist of the structures. Something like that. Now let's reduce the opacity of this layer. Let's make it a little bit less harsh. Something like that. Like that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. You could perfect this. So here's how to perfect this. Layer, new layer, put it on top, get the black. Now let's do the black dark lights. Like you could come back in and you can mold this with some like hatching. You probably don't want to do that right there with hatching. Let me think. That's probably more like this, couple little feathery things here. And then I would come in with a blurry brush. I would do one more final layer, layer new, using black now. Blurry brush, reduce the opacity. Let's hit just these final contours. Push that in. Pushing the structures in. Take note of what I'm doing here. My job is pretty fun. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've lost a little bit of that texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that texture layer. I'm going to bring that texture layer on top. That gives us a little bit more. Let me get these highlights and bring these on top. Like that, yeah. And now let's just tweak the levels of the layers a little bit. Like what happens if we increase this opacity? Just bring that up a little bit. Okay, that's too much. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Now I expect nothing but the best from you all. Cheers.